Hello Warriors! This is Dr. Kessler, Principal of Hunters Lane High School, and I'm doing this video today to talk to you a little bit about how in-person school will be different for the spring 2021 semester. Now everybody's been doing school virtually all year long, so I'm not going to talk too much about how virtual school will work. I'm really going to focus more about how in-person school will work, because in-person school will be different for 2021 than it was when you left us last spring. And I want to make sure everyone is clear, because if you want to switch your choice from in-person to virtual or from virtual to in-person, you have to do that by December 4th. You have between Monday, November 30th and Friday, December 4th to change your selection for what you wanted in person or virtual for spring semester. It is very important that you pick the system that will work best for you. Everything we're explaining within this PowerPoint presentation is tentative. So if there is more illness, if there are other recommendations, we of course reserve the right to make changes. But this is our preliminary plan. And the in-person plan will be more restrictive than what students are used to in the past at Hunters Lane. So we want to make sure that students who pick in-person are willing and able to follow the COVID-19 regulations that go along with in-person school. If those don't work for you or for your child, then maintaining virtual school status is probably the best decision. So please read through each of these slides and listen carefully to the distinctions between virtual and in-person. All in-person Hunters Lane High School students are required to wear standard school attire. The shirt has to have a collar and sleeves, or is official Hunters Lane spirit wear for a t-shirt or a sweatshirt. The shirt has to be solid white, blue, or orange, and the pants, shorts, dress, or skirt have to be solid navy, blue, or khaki. No denim jeans are allowed. No jogging or exercise pants or shorts are permitted, including Hunters Lane warm-ups. And students do not wear hats or hoods during school hours. In-person Hunters Lane students will be required to wear masks at all times that they're on the property. That means when they're arriving, when they're dismissing, and when they're on buses. Masks must cover the nose and mouth, just like in this photo of Dr. Kessler. Lunch will operate very differently at Hunters Lane High School for in-person students than what we typically do because of COVID-19. We cannot have the one lunch program for this semester, so students will be assigned lunch based on the classroom they're in, third block. Students will have assigned seating at lunch, where two people are at a cafeteria table, and you'll see from the photograph they will be very distant away from one another because that allows for social distancing. Lunch will be grab and go style, and students can only remove their mask while they're seated in the cafeteria eating lunch. If you're not eating, you have to wear a mask, and there will be no eating or drinking in classrooms or hallways. Just because you are an in-person student at Hunters Lane, that doesn't necessarily mean you'll have an in-person teacher. If you are a virtual student, you might not have a virtual teacher. So you might have a virtual or in-person teacher regardless of what you've selected. Whether you're in-person or virtual, you will use your laptop using Schoology all day, every day. In-person students will be required to bring their laptops to and from school each day. There will be days when you're in the same classroom all day working on Schoology and you won't switch classes. On Wednesday, we'll have asynchronous days, but students who are in person are still required to have in-person attendance. If you don't come to school, you will be counted absent. To make sure we have as much social distancing as possible, we will be doing class changes differently than what we typically do at Hunters Lane High School. Students will not be permitted to stand and chat in the hallways. Passing time will be reduced so students are out of the classroom less often. Seating in common areas will be removed. Bathrooms will be monitored by staff to promote one-at-a-time use. And students who need to leave class during class time will be escorted by a staff member. In-person students will come to school all day, 7:05 to 2:05 p.m. 4x4 classes will meet every day. A-day classes will meet on Monday, Thursday, and B-day classes will meet Tuesday, Friday. We will alternate A-day, B-day each Wednesday. So if this Wednesday is an A-day, next Wednesday will be a B-day. In-person students are required to come to school on asynchronous days. If you miss, you will need a note in order to excuse that absence. Virtual students will have a different schedule for spring semester as well. So for virtual students, 4x4 classes will meet every day. A-day classes will meet on Monday, Thursday, and B-day classes will meet on Tuesday, Friday. Wednesday will be an asynchronous day where students won't have to log into classes, but they will log into Schoology to do their asynchronous work. Students will have to be online for live classes at 7:30, at 9 a.m., at 11:30 a.m., and at 1 p.m. And each of those classes will last 60 minutes for the spring semester. There will likely be occasions during spring semester that in-person students end up quarantined because they are exposed to someone who has COVID-19. If you are quarantined, you will do all of your schoolwork from home using Schoology. Quarantined students may not attend school or athletic or extracurricular activities. You may not come on campus at any time if you are quarantined. Being quarantined means you must stay home. A negative COVID-19 test will not release you from being quarantined. You still will be prohibited from attending school or any school activity for 14 days after exposure. This is why there are assigned seatings at lunch, because we must maintain a record of who each student has been near in case of an exposure. Students are not permitted to change their selections after December 4th. So if you decide to be an in-person student and you don't like it, you cannot change to virtual. If you are a virtual student and you don't like that, you cannot change to in-person. The last day for changes is December 4th. After that, you will be scheduled as in-person or virtual through the remainder of the school year. If you like the choice you made, you don't have to do anything because that's the choice we have recorded for you. Only families who wish to change what they already selected need to take action by changing from one to the other. If you want to keep your original choice, you don't have to do anything. If you don't remember what was selected, you can email Dr. Kessler at susan.kessler@mnps.org and ask her to tell you what we have recorded for you. Please remember, all changes must happen in the system by December 4th. Whatever we have recorded for you by December 4th is what you will be required to stay with for the remainder of the spring semester. We want you to be well informed of what you are selecting, whether you choose in-person or virtual. We have excellent teachers who will do both, and we can't wait to be able to interact with you, whether it's virtual or in person. But what the worst thing that has happened at some other schools and other districts is that students have picked one method and said, this isn't what I thought I was getting, and wanted to switch, and they were in it the whole semester. And that's what will happen now. So if you're a person who doesn't want to wear a mask, doesn't want to be an SSA, doesn't want to be required to be in the same place all day long and have all of these social distancing rules, then virtual might be a better choice for you. If you pick in person, we're glad to have you. We just want to make sure you recognize that there will be some limitations to how the school can run because of the pandemic. We're hoping we'll be back to normal by next year, absolutely. And we're all doing our part by wearing masks, washing our hands, and social distancing, so that way we can get through this as fast as possible. Please make sure you have, if you want to change your choice, that you have done that by December 4th. If you like the choice you already made, you don't have to do anything. Have a great day, warriors!